Well, they both stick with the Sorlag. The anti-Sorlag hasn't spread down under yet.
No, it's true. We've actually
Mirrors.
got a complete mirror match, and they've also
Even the skins.
Yeah, I think maybe the Sorlag one was a little bit more orange than the other, but otherwise, that's a very popular kind of European pick, or at least it was. A lot of people have now moved away from the whole Sorlag combination, but there's definitely some people who are sticking with it at the same time because they've obviously spent a lot of time rehearsing these champions, even though Sorlag got nerfed.
For sure. I mean, I think as you say, it's around the how comfortable you feel playing. I've seen and heard a lot of people saying Sorlag is now nowhere near as strong. So, I mean, but the fact that you both picked them, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's still Sorlag's a viable champion. Obviously, when you do have some alterations to a champion, you don't want to make sure that you kind of just lock them completely out of meta whatsoever. I think Sorlag definitely can be picked, but now people are experimenting with others. I imagine we're going to see a bit more Doomslayer today, possibly even some Visor played with. And then you've got the sort of side picks like Ranger and Galena that often get those
surprised
voices.
Visor's known as a side pick, but...
It's weird when you consider what's actually changed in terms of his piercing sight, that you maybe expect him to be more commonly picked and almost first picked.
I meant Ranger, but Visor also.
Okay, well, either way.
I was thinking Visor in my head. Ranger in my head, sorry.
Let's get things started here. It's the winner bracket final on the Australia-New Zealand qualifier for the Quake Champions Invitational at Dreamhack Winter. Astroboy and Steej. Steej, who will be on board with to begin with.
Yeah, I know a bit about Astroboy, but Steej is relatively new to me, even though that he came out and did such great results in Quake. We unfortunately didn't get to see him, so I am very excited to see what he can bring to this matchup.
Absolutely, and going on that Anarchy versus Anarchy, we can see what kind of movement we're going to be getting from these boys. They do also play on the same team together for Sacrifice, so I'm sure these guys will be very familiar with how each other plays.
Yeah, that's one of those tricky situations where you're so comfortable playing against your opponent, particularly on an emotional level, that it can take away from the way you're playing. But their engagement here is like the lag, and he looks to escape. Nice rail next to him.
All right, that was actually a really solid shot at the end. The LG fight wasn't so bad either from Steej. It looked like they both used their injection at a similar moment as well, where you had that kind of breakaway of the fight. And then we've got Astroboy, who's going to be going with Sorlag afterwards. Good initial rail. And looking for some further damage, but Astroboy does eventually sneak away with that mega health. We'll fight another day.
Yeah, nice play there. Steej taking the right decision. Obviously, with the Anarchy champion, you're a little bit weaker. You can't commit for those items as you will, but playing very positional here. And it seems that rail is the weapon of choice for Steej, and that's why he's taking these stronger, more open positions where you can really take off the Sorlag.
Yeah, that's it. If you want to get that initial damage going and you want to avoid... Oh, that LG damage was nasty. If you want to avoid that close-range acid spit as well, which is something you're definitely conscious about as an Anarchy, that hurt. He went into the fight anyway after receiving that rocket, and he just had so little health to follow up with. And I will switch over to Astroboy and check him out after he got that most recent frag. Both players going very low just then, though.
Yeah, and a couple of awesome shots off the start there, because Astroboy was very weak after that, and that meant that Steej had to back off and wasn't able to push in, because as you know, the Sorlag is extremely tanky, but it does take a long time to get back up to fighting stack, and he's done an extremely great job.
Now Astroboy, he's just picked up the armor and the mega. You're not going to see a Sorlag more stacked than this, and it's definitely something Steej will be cautious of when going into a fight, and that is definitely going to make him want to do a bit of entry damage before he commits. And I mean, opposite-wise, for Astroboy, I'd almost suggest just rocket jump, just get stuck in. Get into a fight as soon as you can and take advantage of these extra resources that you've got at the moment.
Yeah, it's true, but at the same time, they do tick down very slowly. He's just securing the item before. He should be moving in after the second round, as I would say, but it just takes to tick down slowly, and as long as Steej isn't getting onto anything, the small items don't really add up too fast, particularly if you're just cornered in one section. So really great job at the minute, hiding himself as well, and trying to let Steej run into him.
Sure, you would prescribe, though, just get into a fight if you're Astroboy. Maybe watch out for any entry damage yourself, but this could be it. This is a little trap set up. Steej seems to be wise to it, but if he turns around, he might get a little bit of a surprise, and that is going to be almost an insta-frag just then. I think all the spit landed. He done a bit of rocket damage as well. And that's going to hurt. Steej with just the nicks to go up a still pretty stacked Sorlag.
Yeah, this is tough now. Oh, he's used the Ghost Walk already. Has not liked it. That was really risky.
Ghost Walk with nail gun.
Yeah, really, really risky.
Maybe he's hoping to bank on a sort of perforation frag of some sort. You don't really want to put all your money on the table with that.
No way. Especially when it's your last champion.
This is also really risky. He's going to get a couple of health bubbles, and the LG damage was really good, but there's just it's no competition there when you go someone who's that stacked, and LG is working that way.
Yeah, a couple of miscalculations coming out from Steej, first with the Anarchy and secondly with the Nyx, that overcommitting, getting into some bad situations when, particularly on the latter, with your ability was not up, so just poor calculation.
But maybe he's feeling like it's an early round, you know, let's take these high risk, high reward things. Don't want to sort of like commit too much energy to somewhere where he's already behind. Oh, we've got a fight immediately, and AstroBoy rockets are going to work beautifully.
Yeah, well,
secure the first frag.
Yeah, we've seen throughout the round and a half so far that nice rocket coming out is that AstroBoy has a better awareness of what's going on the map than Steej, and allowing Steej to play into his hands a little bit. So. Oh, what's the prediction?
I was expecting to do a little rocket jump there, but you know what? He's going to take advantage of how everything panned out, and he's going to be able to get a kill. That worked out nicely for him. He probably would have swiveled on by to the Mega shortly after. It was meant to be a rocket jump, but Steej thought maybe he can get his fingers onto that Mega health, which it was way too premature to be asking for.
I wonder, like, just a kind of a theoretical question, how much of an impact, as we said, knowing each other quite in depth might have had? Because I know in the past, when you do come up against your practice partners in official matches, there's always that nagging doubt in that they know what I'm going to be doing, so should I change the way I play?
So it depends who comes out on top, I guess, in all these practice matches. Maybe you're thinking, well, he's going to expect me to do this. Oh, lovely rocket frag there. And another round indeed for AstroBoy. I guess it depends what the results tend to be, and if you're trying to create like a persona for yourself that they expect you to play, maybe it could then be a danger if you try something else that it won't work because you haven't had that chance to practice it. It's definitely tough to calculate, but also why it's
my
enjoyable.
question with a question, like you just mind baffled me.
Did I?
You did. I don't know what just happened, but I feel like I'm the one in the wrong.
Well, we've got AstroBoy here who's looking to pick up just one more round to make it a clean 3-0 versus Steej. And of course, AstroBoy, the one Australian who made it to the top 16 at QuakeCon and got himself into the money, of course. Steej, though, trying to press forward a little bit. That rail wouldn't quite have killed AstroBoy, but would have stuck on 1 HP. Yeah,
and the problem that Steej is finding himself in at this point in time is that if he goes on the aggressive, AstroBoy is reading him particularly well, but if he's trying to play defensive, AstroBoy is also outplaying him and catching him off guard. So he's caught in kind of two minds on how he should be playing.
Ooh. All right. That little rail here landed at the end. Sometimes if you are being out-positioned, outplayed, you just need a couple of clutch shots when you're going up against someone with an equally small stack.
Yeah.
And, this is where I think it gets difficult for him when he's going up versus that sort of like he's going to completely have to change his playstyle. AstroBoy's being very, very aggressive, and the LG's going to outplay. It's going to take him down anyway.
Yeah.
So much stack to go against, and he just can't hold on.
That's the problem. Just again,
whoa,
nice. That was the problem in that just overestimating his own aim and underestimating the amount of damage he needs to put out, particularly when he didn't have that injection up. It's just the safer bet when you don't have the injection up is not to commit at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning of the fight, taking down as much... Okay, sorry, something was fishy about this situation. Going in for the Mega, he's right in front, and that is going to be Ghost Walk after Ghost Walk. He's found him, but yeah, you can't commit to a fight like that with 47 health.
That was, yeah, nice, sneaky play from AstroBoy. Whoa. They both haven't got Ghost Walk up now.
Oh, and the rockets from AstroBoy, that should put them on a champion apiece. I'd probably favour Steej a little bit with the Sorlag pick. As long as he doesn't have the wrong weapons out at the wrong time, he should be alright. He's done some good damage, and the rocket to follow up means he's going to get himself on the board and get around in there.
That was nice. Really nice.
Yeah,
Like the rocket jump up, he knew that he had this opportunity. That Ghostwalk was still not up for another 10 seconds, and if you can just connect with that spit and get a couple of ticks of lightning gun damage off, it's almost certain death for an injury like that.
Astroboy has stood by the shotgun. It's almost like he just watched the world go past him. I don't think he was expecting the aggressive play to happen, and he just melted to acid. And
It was really one of those things where Steej got the lucky spawn. If he spawned lightning gun, that was not possible. So.
oh, he lands the rail actually. Oh.
Nice flick.
And definitely work with that, looking to protect the rockets a bit. Will eventually move away. Just there listening to what's happening in the middle, but he's taking a lot of lightning gun damage. He's going to edge out. He's got himself some armor, so he's not railable anymore. The heavy is up, and Astroboy, he actually just goes on. He's not even bothered whatsoever and falls to the LG. I don't think he meant to drop all the way.
No, not at all. I mean, he obviously got knocked off by the lightning gun. I do like it when Steej is playing on the aggressive, and there does seem to be a better awareness around the situation. That's the key for him at the moment. I like it when he plays aggressive. It's just he needs to be aware of his own stack and his own capabilities. Not getting caught like that, but in terms of when his abilities are up, what his opponent's stack is like, that's the key at the moment.
That was close to one. Astroboy didn't have a Mega available. He would have been very, very vulnerable. He's trying to find him around the corner, and Steej trying to take any of those extra 5 HP ticks from the blood pool as he can. But ultimately, Astroboy is taking heaps on the map, and he's looking good to convert this to a frag and put himself onto map point frag. What do you want to call that?
Map frag.
Map frag.
I'll stick with that.
Rotation for Mega is right around the corner. Right behind him. He doesn't need to commit to Mega straight away. He could possibly go in and search for some extra damage, but doesn't want to risk getting himself out of position to actually take the item anyway.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really dangerous now, because it's two uncontested major items, and there is very little opportunity for Steej except for play the corners.
Yeah, you don't want to stick yourself in the middle of one of these rooms like where it was with his Anarchy against the Sword. You have nowhere to escape. You need to be very, very careful. Mega is coming up once again, and Astroboy looks definitely set to take all the big items once more. Steej just needs to get himself on some of the smaller items, and if he can set up a trap, this could be good. One nice rocket, both of them use their acid spit, and actually a very good amount of damage done by Steej. Is he going to risk it to go across? He has. He's got surely good resources, but
was craziness.
I was expecting maybe a bit more oomph there from Steej making that jump across, but there was like no damage came out at all.
Yeah, I mean, even if there was more damage, I think Astroboy came away with around 110 health. It's one of those situations where unless your opponent is crazy low, there's 0 point in doing it because of that situation. I mean, Astroboy didn't even hit particularly well. I mean, the lightning gun didn't begin until Steej had already got the item, so it just shows you how risky those type of plays are.
Yeah. And well, that play is going to set Steej onto one last champion, Nyx, to go versus the Sorlag. If he can do something in the next 2 minutes, then we could possibly see a tie-breaking round, but of course it is just the first map of the winner bracket final.
And at this point in time, the pressure is definitely on Steej. Astroboy doesn't really need to overcommit in any situations. He can play relatively safe. Oh wow. Bounced around. Easy.
That double rocket to rail, that was absolutely gorgeous from him. Was not expecting that. And I don't think Steej was expecting that either.
I liked it.
But you know what? Steej is going to have a chance to pick the map himself next. So he could maybe put himself in an advantageous spot anyway.
Based on what you have seen,
I don't want to pretend to be too intelligent or anything.
39% LG coming out from both of them. That's pretty impressive.
Pretty insane. You've got to recognize that this does, I believe, calculate the final round of damage.
Is this just
and
the
so
final?
on.
Has that changed?
Yeah, at the moment it has. But you can see round by round as you go through with the scoreboard, but just the final bit is to alter. Yeah, so we'll see what map Steej picks next. I don't want to pretend to be like the sort of the brains of everything and know ahead what he's going to pick.
I would never have envisaged you trying to predict that.
No, obviously no, my predictions are just godly generally, but on this occasion I'm happy. Predict what?
Next map.
It's going to be Blood Covenant.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got no basis for my prediction on any level at all. But
I'm going to say Ruins.
There's this also a guess.
No.
It is. I've just been told in the voice in the clouds that it's going to be Sign-Out. So I call that a lucky guess, all right?
No, I'm looking at the picks. Again, the Anarchy in particular likes
Atrocious.
that map.
Oh wait, did you cheat?
How did I cheat? No, it was on Blood Run
Oh, okay.
prior to this.
I think, okay, guys, we got a bit of a cheater here. This prediction, don't count that for anything.
Production
no.
just said I
It's
didn't
not.
cheat.
No, production is also wrong. I'm calling this an unfair battle, and we'll need another showing.
Just very simple.
I think
based off the play
if
style,
Steej now
I
wins,
would've
then I'll
thought-
have a 50-50 chance of getting it right.
And you'll still be wrong, most likely.
I'll feel better about that a little bit. But yeah, we are going to go over to Ruins, and you do see map by map that champion picks do tend to change.
Yeah.
I think at the moment we're in the process of seeing people pick more the champions for the map than they do for their opponent,
It's not
generally.
that-
You have players like Cypher that seems to be thinking more about the player, and Cooler does tend to do that as well. That's been his kind of
I think
style
it
over the
depends.
years.
I think that's because of the way in which the meta, if you want to call it the meta, evolved, in that everyone was picking the Sorlag, and the only real counter to a Sorlag was picking a Sorlag.
True.
So
it's
it was
not wrong.
as the game becomes, I don't want to say more balanced, but in terms of that more playstyles are viable,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you're going to see that the mind games coming out and people starting to alter up their picks based on who they're playing
Yeah.
against. So
Well, at the moment, Steej and JAMastroboy, they do not want to change anything. We're getting the Anarchy, the Sorlag, and the Nyx
Yeah.
once again, and they're all dressed so very well as well.
yeah, it's
Do you think they dress
I
really
don't
well
have
when they're
any
playing too? Do
skins.
you think they've got good like physical skins as well?
in real life
Yeah.
better than yours.
Clothes. Shut up. I'm actually representing Ketchup.
I
a little
know.
bit here. I thought that he'd be proud of me.
He would be. It is. I think his is
My
slightly.
best shirt now.
No, it's about the same color actually.
Yeah.
Ketchup and blueberry.
That's true.
I can't.
Fragile like a
pull
blueberry.
off a mustard look. I'm sorry.
No. I think both of us are lacking on the hair front anyway. But yeah, I wonder if Steej, we can stick it to the game a little bit. At the
Okay,
moment.
sorry.
I'm wondering if Steej is going to be able to make it back in this and get us to a tiebreaker. I have been told they're pretty close in skill.
It felt like the last couple of rounds he was getting into the game a bit more, and it was relatively 50-50. It was just Steej in a few instances overestimating the capabilities, and if he could kind of rein that in, play slightly safer, I think he does have a definite shout.
It's getting caught out in sort of the rooms where you're meant to give yourself an escape option from time to time, and sometimes he just risked it way too much. But we are in the game now in map number 2. We are in Ruins of Sarnath, and we got JAMastroboy a map ahead over Steej.
Yeah, and we didn't catch the start, but obviously Steve's doing a great job off the spawn.
Yeah, definitely, and that absolutely melted him with the lightning gun just then. Just as JAMastroboy was probably feeling a bit more comfortable, having picked up the weapon himself, he immediately perished. But let's go head over to Steej and see what he's going to be getting up to, as we have got the Mega spawning too.
Nice, just blocking out JAMastroboy, knows exactly where he is, and Lizard's trapped at the moment.
Oh, he spotted him again there. I wonder if we can have a quick look. At this stage, when you've got just one item spawning soon, surely you can kind of hold on a little bit and try and... He's even got the acid spit rid, so he could probably push in very aggressively in a moment and pick up this frag quite comfortably. There we go. Armor's going to be up. He's got time to go to the Mega afterwards. This is like a golden start for him on this round. Okay, maybe Mega will be a bit of a feat.
Nice.
Whoa, okay. That's what I'm talking about. Get that Ghost Walk away from here. He's got the lightning gun to pull up, and that round is clean.
That was really... that's one of those things that's possible, but if that was me in a game, I would have just flown way too high and just got pummeled or something.
You're pummeled as you're coming up, or some air rocket hits you or something like that.
Dial points for that.
Beautifully done there by Steej, making his mark on Ruins of Sarnath, saying that he's not done yet in this winner bracket finals. Of course, whoever is winning in this series is going to be qualified. We've got a pummel going after him. Looks like JAMastroboy's completely lost the plot.
Well, you can see there the importance of actually getting a weapon and the items and not just everything. Okay, he knows exactly where he is. And
wow. All right.
It's going to tick down.
That was... Steej is just manning up at the moment. This is awesome from him. And, oh, the rail comes out. Clutch shot there from JAMastroboy. And he's going to get him start getting himself a little bit into this map. Maybe he's going to have a chance. Oh, he's missed his jump a bit.
See there, it's not easy.
Not for Nyx, it seems, and he's trying to do a little wall jump to get up there. But I think he would have been well too late for the Mega anyway. He had the gauntlet out for a second, but he's going to die regardless, and that is going to be 2-0. It's been a 2.5-minute map so far. Do
Pretty quick.
you think we can get it under 5 minutes?
I hope so.
Yeah. I don't know. Right now,
I think, well, it's clear what's happening. Astroboy is just running, running at Steej, and Steej is manning up. There's not really much to say.
Maybe there's this thing where you're trying to have like the unpredictable aggression. It's like if you keep doing it, then he's gonna like keep being surprised somehow. At least that's how you maybe rationalize it in your mind. But it's just, yeah, not working.
It's more that Astroboy has just taken very risky fights, and they haven't been paying off.
Through the logic that I gave.
Sure, once again, why not?
Maybe. Steej's going to spy him out. We have got the armor in a second, and it's going to be sharesies on the 2 major items. What if they're trying to get a rail out? Unfortunately for him, will miss, but he doesn't need to worry too much because control of the map is contested. Rockets versus LG. He is available, going to use that injection, realizes, does that quick mental arithmetic and realize that vulnerability was pretty terrifying.
Nice and safe. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
The last map's high risk.
Oh, LG versus LG.
Wow.
Steej. The Wonder Boy.
Melting Astroboy in these fights now, and this is what we saw last game in a way, and he was manning up because he had such faith in his fighting abilities at the moment. Last map it didn't pay off, but now it really is.
And there's only going to be, of course, if he does win, Astroboy does get a pick, but there's only 2 maps left, and those map advantages are kind of less present. At least you'd expect. And with Mega up in a moment, there's a couple of seconds until it's up, but it's not going to be late enough that he can get it too. And he's not putting on pressure yet. He needs to start like managing Astroboy's stack a little.
Yeah, now we see Astroboy returning to the way he was playing Blood Run, slowing the game down and letting Steej run into him a little bit more. Nice rail coming out there. It's one of those strong positions that we saw Claws use in QuakeCon very, very often. So.
And this, ooh, we've got a dive underneath actually. If he could have hit that shot, he could have dived in for the frag, but instead he's going to give up that armor. That was one of the risks. He wasn't able to completely, do that 24-hour surveillance on Astroboy as he was in the tri-bolt room.
No, but what is very apparent is that Steej is highly comfortable in this map. So as we saw, he missed that rail, took the Mega, but then read Astroboy's position and made sure he still did damage on the exit. And that's a very, very important point when you're not playing super aggressive, that you have to continually do damage to limit how much of a stack the champions can have, particularly when it's a Sorlag that can get so tanky. You need to prevent them from getting to that kind of critical mass stage. They can just do this.
Oh, those rockets look good. He's not able to follow up a little bit. LG coming out. There's going to be some of the tech damage and he's going to die. And he can't get on. The health bubble was just centimeters away. And finally we got Astroboy doing something. I think this is like his 2nd frag of the match so far. And they're both available. Is Steej gonna go for it? Oh, it's not worth it anymore. That armor's been taken, and that is going to absorb some of the health that he would take, that he would have lost in the rail.
Nice by Astroboy.
Wow, okay, he took both. LG coming out though. Alright, decent. That should keep Astroboy at bay for a little bit and allow Steej to collect some of the health on the map.
Yeah, they were relatively similar stacks. Now Astroboy's got slightly more, so neither of them really wanting to risk anything at this point in time. I'm saying that.
I can't believe Steej is committing to this fight. One health to go. That would have been it. That would have, well, I wouldn't have been quitting. We could have 1 champion left, but it would have been a step closer to securing that map. We got the Mega taken by Steej. 26 health to go though for Astroboy. And I think right now, just collect those beautiful blue bubbles on the map.
Yeah,
and
1 minute.
Pad yourself a bit.
Exactly, 1 minute. There is literally no need unless you hit the rail, but even then it's still not.
As this come to perforation time. Oh, he hits a rail, and he could find another one actually. The armor's up, and if he collects a bit of health and can get over to Mega, he can have control of this map. And it's at a crucial point as well. There's not much time left, and he wants to draw it into sudden death.
And now he has that last 30 seconds to really push in.
I'm going to switch over to Steej and see if we can find him on the chase. Oh, he's missing these rails though. He needs to try and cut him off. And I think that's what Astroboy's trying to read. The jump across, I kind of like it. He does lose a tiny bit of his momentum. We've got sub 15 seconds. Don't get the armor. Just chase directly. See what you can do. Find him. He hits one rail. One more rail would get him critically low. 3 seconds to go. He's found it, but he misses the shot, and he gets taken down by the acid spit. Or if he only hit that rail, then maybe there would have been hope.
No.
All right, you're less hopeful than me, but fair enough. We are going to see Astroboy moving into round 4, and we can see. Oh, wait, that's a lie. There we go. See if he can bring it a little bit closer. I think one rail left just then, and he's going to hit the next one. And Steej's dreams of winning this map maybe slowly starting to fade.
Yeah, it's one of those things anyway that's been the precedent so far, is that once you knock Steej off the Anarchy, not as strong.
Oh, so coming back with great LG, and then actually as soon as Astroboy started fighting back, he used the Ghost Walk, so he still maintains a good stack as he comes out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I quite like that position. Obviously, I say his chances of winning the map are fading. He just all of a sudden, you just start getting a whiff of reverse sweeps on this map through rounds.
Yeah, I mean, Quake is, what, is that pummel?
I think he had the pummel out.
Interesting. Obviously, Quake is heavily momentum favored. So within rounds, obviously, like as you can see, the stack advantage, the weapon advantage just allows you to push and push and push.
That was a bit overzealous though from Astroboy. I think he saw glory just then for this round and was like, I don't know, some kind of like shouting Braveheart kind of thing going on in the background. Expected it to happen, but okay, he comes back. Nice. There we go.
I mean, yeah, but it's true. When you have the 2 champion advantage and you get your opponent on the back foot, there is a massively great incentive for you to keep pushing.
Yeah.
You know you have the fallback. So, and as you see, it's paying off. You got him very, very weak, spawned in a great position, and continued to push.
And this is it. We've got the tie-breaking round as first Steej wins it. We get a third map. Astroboy wins it, and we'll this off at Dreamhack wins it. LG though following up, trying to get enough damage out, and Steej is going to go into the corners of this room, and Astroboy's kind of just given up on the chase.
Must have known where he was.
Surely he had a clue. He couldn't possibly be anywhere else. Unless he thought that he kind of zipped up those little sort of steps on the side and over the wall, crazy movement, but I would have fished for, you know, some more detective work maybe.
Well, you're a better Anarchy player than both these players.
Well, you know, I don't like to boast.
Well, you're going to beat 0-4 next Thursday as well.
Oh, that's true. 0-4, you're going down. I will win the sushi. Astroboy, he's going to be able to get that frag onto Steej, and just finding him over at the sort of the small armor. That's a bit like, why are we fighting here? This didn't need to happen to you, Steej.
No, but Astroboy has shown a good presence of mind to know when to push most of the time, and that even when his pushes have failed, he's always doing sufficient damage that he can continue to push off the spawn. And it's almost reminiscent of old school Quake, where we don't have the round ability and you can keep pushing and pushing. So he's actually been able to transcend that into Quake Champions, which is quite a feat.
I wonder if he didn't go a little bit too deep in on this occasion. LG versus LG on the players. There was a bit of jumping going on from Astroboy though. The acid comes through, and actually I think some of it hit. Rockets to defend himself, but Astroboy eventually pushes at the right moment. Steej with now the Nyx to defend, and there's quite a healthy amount of stack going for Astroboy. LG's taken, and Ghost Walk was used. He's hanging around over there, but he's not even got his full natural stack. Armor's just been taken. Can he do something with this? He's gonna take him down. We're gonna get Nyx versus Nyx, but so little health on Steej.
I have no idea how he pulled that out the bag, because Astroboy was pretty ramped up.
Yeah, absolutely. If he can get himself his Ghost Walk and not be railable. All right, now we look at. Oh, Ghost Walk was just used.
Yeah, he knew.
He sensed it.
He's had the teleporter.
Oh, you can't go into this fight. He goes my! For the deciding fight to get the Astroboy to get to qualify.
I like it. Steej has gone so far up in my books.
Astroboy says, GG, see ya in Sweden, bro. Well, he's definitely going to be expecting his mate to make it down in the loser bracket qualifiers, is what that tells me. But
Astroboi only used the lightning gun in that round.
Well, he only hit with the lightning gun. He missed all his rockets. He missed all his rails.
Both of them.
Interesting. Yeah, and there was some machine gun, and there was gauntlet missed by Steej. As you can see, 103 gauntlets were missed, which is a lot of gauntlets to miss.
I do love the gauntlet plays. It was so, but there was. What I love about that is just the amount of optimism.
It's true. Because if he did actually keep walking and go in for the chase, then it could probably have worked.
Steej is definitely a glass half full guy.
But it was like a sort of 10%er maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's enough in his books.
Yeah, that's it.
It's gonna work.
If it worked, he would have been the best person in Quake.
Last chance saloon, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing else is working.
He'd bought himself such good chances, though, is what he did. That amazing fight down at the heavy armor. He got that stack and he realized, right, I either fight or I die, because if he started running, he would have been melted completely. He had no ghost walk up or anything. So it's like, right, I'm just going to go in for it. I'm going to hit as much as I possibly can, which worked. Sure. And then he did all the great work afterwards. It was a bloody gauntlet at the end. Why?
In a fight he didn't even need to take.
Exactly.
That's the strange part about the decisions.
Either way, I hope that we will definitely see him later, because he still does get to play in a qualification round to get over to Dreamhack Winter. But we will cross this bridge a little later, because what we're going to do is going to go to